We bought a box truck. Maybe you already saw that video and you're wondering why the heck did we buy a box truck instead of a RV or a Class C or Class C RV or something, or a Skoolie or a shuttle bus or whatever else. Or if you didn't see that video, maybe you just coming in here because you saw this and thought, why would somebody buy a box truck instead of some of the other things? Maybe you're researching options yourself, whether for part-time camping trips or full-time van life or whatever. Well, we'll share in this video the 11 reasons that we chose to buy a box truck for our next adventure and camping rig. And you can see we've been working on plans. This is actually, I think, the third whiteboard we've filled up with plans. They've all been somewhat similar, but they've been adapted and revised. And don't get too excited about what's on the board, because this is just a rough sketch and plans are changing and they're fluid as we prepare to work on this build process. So what exactly do we buy? This is a 2014 GMC Savannah Cutaway with a 16+ foot box on it. It's a high mileage fleet truck, came out of Billings, Montana. Very well maintained though, and it is perfect for our needs. So 11 reasons we bought a box truck instead of an RV or a Skoolie or a shuttle bus or any of the other possible options out there. First is space. We have a 16+ foot bed, specifically is 16 feet, 4.5 inches from this bulkhead wall here between the cab and the box and the back of the box. 8 feet wide, about 6.5 feet tall. So I can stand up and have plenty of headroom still. Number two, it's a square box. If you've ever tried to do a van build on an Econoline or a Chevy Express or any of those more traditional vans that are curved, and even to some extent some of the newer, more square vans, they're still somewhat curved, just not as bad as the older ones. It's a pain in the butt to have to scroll things and try and get stuff to fit. You have a lot of wasted space unless you're like a boat builder or something. You end up with space because of the way things fit. You have dead space behind them you don't get to use. You try and put a refrigerator in or a normal piece of furniture and it's hitting the wall on the top and the bottom is sticking out from the wall. You also have wheel wells and the gas tank fill and everything cutting up your floor space. We have none of that in this truck. It's wide open. It's a nice square box. It's going to be easy to build, and that's a big advantage. Number three, a blank slate. This thing was empty. We can do anything we want with it. Unlike an RV where half of the stuff is nasty and old and outdated, needs to be replaced, or for an older used RV, or with any RV that just doesn't meet our needs, we have to tear stuff out anyways to redo it. This gives us a blank slate. We can do exactly what we want to do, and that's really, really cool. That's the reason we've been through several whiteboards full of schematics or drawings already, trying to figure out how we want to do this. Number four, it's a no-frills work truck. I'm a big fan on older vehicles of the no-frills stuff. Not a lot of extra fluff you don't need, because that's just fluff that breaks and is difficult to troubleshoot and expensive to repair or maintain. This is just a no-frills truck. It's a straight-up GM box truck chassis and a van cab. It's got air conditioning and it's got cruise control, which does work. And well, that's about it. There's not much else for manual locks, manual windows, manual seats, everything. So there's less things to break, and it just makes it easier to maintain. Weight capacity. If you're looking at like a half-ton van, man, you are not going to put much stuff in there at all, especially by the time you get done with the build. This thing has a 12,300 pound weight capacity, GVWR. We're going to be nowhere near that. If we took every single thing we own, and we're actually kind of trying to downsize a little bit now anyways, but if we took everything we own out of the trailer, our travel trailer, put it in here, we're going to be nowhere near weight capacity, even with a build, so we got plenty of room to work with. The price versus an RV or a Skoolie or a shuttle bus, etc. A lot of times you can find a box truck at a better price, and we did in this case. We just about stole this thing from a business up in Billings, Montana. They're an over-the-road, or they're a regional haul company. They run back and forth between Billings and Bozeman, which is about 2 hours west. And this truck here, for 5 years, ran back and forth from Billings to Bozeman 5 days a week. That's all it did. And they owned this truck for 5 years, and they put over 300,000 miles on it in 5 years. going back and forth between Billings and Bozeman. It's all on I-90. They also come down from Billings with the different trucks. They come down from Billings to Gillette and to Sheridan. And again, 5 days a week, just all over the road. Well, this one, it's all highway mileage. It's a fleet truck. It's been super well maintained. These trucks are worth a lot more than we paid for this. We managed to pick this thing up for $3,000, which is incredible. You can't it's very hard to find anything that runs and drives for $3,000, let alone a really well-maintained box truck. So this thing's got a lot of miles on it, 502,000 on the clock, but the engine's been replaced with a Chevy crate motor at a dealership. The differential was done 60,000 miles ago. The transmission, brand new crate transmission at a Chevy dealership 40,000 miles ago. So all the big stuff's been replaced. They took care of everything else as well. Regular oil changes, everything's been taken really good care of. So we got a really good deal on this. This truck should have been $6,000 or $8,000 minimum based on all the stuff we've been seeing in this region. And in fact, this one, they started at $6,000, didn't sell right away. They lowered it to $45,000. Then I saw it. And then when I logged back onto Facebook a few days later, they lowered the price to $3,000. So that was Monday last week, 7 days ago. We hit them up, made arrangements to go up on Tuesday. We raced up on Tuesday and we bought it. We took it out, test drove it, got some more of the story of the truck, and it's a great deal and runs perfect. Drove it all the way back from Billings with no trouble at all. So the price was definitely a factor there that we couldn't touch a different step van or a RV or a Skoolie or anything that was in this kind of maintenance condition, this kind of running condition for this price. We'd have been paying several times more at a minimum. Availability, it's what we could find. Even though I was leaning towards box trucks, we were also still considering RVs and shuttle buses and similar, maybe even a small Skoolie. We were considering other things. Box truck was sort of on the top of my list, but this is what we found. So that's why we bought this, because this is the one that was available and it worked out for us. Number 8, the cool factor. I mean, let's face it, box trucks are cool, or at least I think they're cool, and ultimately that's all that matters. Skoolies are cool too, so it's sort of like a Skoolie, but it's a box truck. There are some other factors that come into that. Number 9, maintainability. This thing's a lot easier to maintain than a Skoolie or some other larger rigs. It's just a GM chassis, and parts are readily available for this. It's a 6-liter LS engine in it. Again, parts are readily available, and every mechanic in North America can work on this truck if it's something that I'm not up to tackling myself. Number 10, fun build project. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast because I'm always working around either something that's already there, trying to modify it, like with a trailer, or with a van. We've had that down to the bare walls, cut the roof all built around high top, but you're still dealing with the aggravation of the curved walls, and with a van, you still got a 6x9 space, so we got more room to work with. It's nice and square. It's blank slate. We're looking forward to it, doing the build on it. We're excited to get started on it, which we're only held up because of weather, because it's Monday now. It snowed like crazy Saturday and Sunday, and today it's gray and windy and kind of nasty. So as soon as we get a little bit of a break in the weather, we're going to dive into this thing and get going on it, and we're looking forward to it. Number 11, extensibility. I'm a geek. I worked in the computer world for a lot of years, and extensibility is the ability to expand or extend something in its capabilities, and this truck gives us this. There's a real good chance that, this 16 by 8 by 6.5 foot box is going to be fine, but if we want to extend it further, we can do underbody tanks or storage boxes, no problem. We got tons of room to do that. We can hang them underneath. We can do a over cab rack. Because of the design of this, we can put a traditional roof rack over the cab and store things out there. Sometimes people put spare tires or other things up there. I don't know if we'll do that, but we can do it if we want to. And solar, I mean, I can't even imagine. I haven't done the math to figure out the sizes yet, but I cannot imagine how much solar we can put on a 16-foot by 8-foot roof. So we're gonna have all the power we could possibly want while we're traveling and camping off-grid, which is what we really love to do. So these are 11 reasons why we chose a box truck, why we bought this box truck in particular over an RV or a Skoolie or a shuttle bus or whatever else we could have bought that would have given us more room, because the van is great, but it's still only a 6x9 box that's curved. And so that's why we bought this. Why we upgraded is why we went this direction with it. Quick note on fuel efficiency. We get comments about this from time to time. No, you don't get great fuel efficiency in a 16-foot box truck with a 6-liter V8 engine in it. You don't get all that great a fuel efficiency out of a full-size van. Put a high top on it of any sort, you knock it down further. You drive an RV, you're not getting great fuel efficiency. You drive a Skoolie, you're not getting great fuel efficiency. You have a 21-foot travel trailer like we have and hook it behind your cargo van or behind a pickup truck, you're not getting great fuel efficiency. So no matter, you get into the bigger vehicles, you just don't get great fuel efficiency. And that's the reason why we have a Prius, because I absolutely love the 46 to 50 miles a gallon, sometimes better than that we get consistently. Our van, I used to get 18 on the highway consistently if I held it to 62 to 65 mph and if I didn't have a headwind and if I wasn't dealing with mountains and stuff. We dropped down with the high top to about 10, which is exactly what I expected it to do, 10 and a half. We put the V-nose wind deflector on the front. We went back up to about 12.5 consistently. We did hit 14.6 on one tank coming back from the desert this spring in March. That's because we had a nasty tailwind pushing us. Well, you don't get great fuel efficiency with any big vehicle. It's just the nature of the beast. As far as our plans for the other vehicles, I was telling Melanie last night, if you count the trailer, we have 4 vehicles right now. That is ridiculous, and it's 2 vehicles too many. So the trailer is going away soon. It's been a great trailer. I've had it for going on 4 years now. I've loved it, but it's an ultralight and it's 30 years old and it's just kind of disintegrating. It's all delaminating and structurally compromised, and it's sagging, and so we have to like jack it up to support it to open the door and stuff. So that's going to be sold for a local trailer. Somebody can use it for hunting camp or fishing camp or backyard storage or an accessory dwelling unit in the backyard, whatever they want to do. But it needs to be a local truck and not being towed the thousands of miles that I've towed it around the western U.S. here. The van, we're going to keep that as a camper van. We're going to do a little bit of work to finish up some things we haven't finished yet as soon as the weather cooperates, and then we're going to sell that as a turnkey, ready-to-go camper van, complete with solar, lithium batteries, refrigerator, all of it. So it'll be a turnkey, ready-to-go camper van. It's a solid van. Just drove it back from Nevada, over 1,000 miles. I'm still driving it daily around here in Wyoming. It's just a 6x9 box. Even with the cab over bunk, it's just too small for 2 people for extended usage. Build plans here, we're working on them. So I was showing you that board. We got some ideas. Number 1, I'm cutting out this right here, the bulkhead here, and we're putting in a pass-through door so we can go back and forth through the cab. We're not going to do a side door. If it had a side door, we'd use it, but it gives us more usable space for furnishings and living area without it. So we're not putting it in. We're going to put the pass-through here so we can go straight back and forth. And the back roll-up door is coming out. So we'll have front and rear doors, and we're going to build a wall in there. I thought about keeping the roll-up door for a few different styles. We'll talk more about that in the video where we take it out, but it's coming out. We're putting in a wall with a regular door. We're going to have a garage area in the back. We're still nailing down the exact plans on that. We're not putting anything in the garage area that's not already in the van or in the trailer. The bonus is just that it's going to be kind of in a segregated, separate spot, so it's nice and neat and tidy. So we'll be sharing more about that. There's a whole, we're planning a whole video series on the build process, and so those will be coming very soon, just as soon as we can get going on it. And I do have to give a shout out to my friend Sean up in the Yukon. Sean's got a really nice RV now, but when I first met him, he was traveling in a box truck. Met him down in Quartzsite, Arizona, and it was a great box truck he built out for his needs. And he's been sending me pictures and sharing some things about how he did his, like keeping these tie-down rails and putting in framing around that to do the insulation and put on wallboard and everything. So very helpful. Thank you, Sean. I'm sitting in a chair right now. By the way, this chair came from my dad. It's a nice Cabela's deer stand hunting chair, and we were using that in the van all winter, and I just dragged it over here to share about the box truck and why we chose to buy a box truck. So if you found this video helpful, you enjoyed this, we have a whole playlist on rig tours that I've done. They mostly are my vehicles over the years because I've had quite a few. But you may enjoy checking out some of the other rig tours we got on there. And obviously we'll do a full rig tour on this when we're done with it, but we're also going to have the build videos coming up very soon as well.